we'll stay with Notre Dame theme here, as it looks like they've have their replacement for Al Golden. Chris Ash is coming in as their new defensive coordinator. The former Rutgers head coach has a very extensive history background, NFL, college level, spent last season in the NFL as a scout, which I find, very interesting that he gave the scouting thing a go and he has this opportunity now and wants to get right back into coaching. But to me, right away, it just screams a very similar profile to what you're seeing with Al Golden when he was hired, having that NFL experience. Now, Golden was coaching linebackers, with the Bengals before he made that move. So a little bit different than what Ash is doing, making the direct switch from being a scout. But I just feel like this is a hire where Marcus Freeman says, look, let's not try to do too much. Let's bring in an experienced guy. We have a good thing going here. We don't need someone to reinvent the wheel.
And he also coached secondary at the NFL level, coached safeties with the Jacksonville Jaguars, yep. Coached defensive backs with the Raiders. So he was a position coach also in the NFL. And like you said, the parallels with Al Golden are huge. Talk about a guy who was a hot name, right? One of the hottest names in coaching, ends up getting a head coaching job. Doesn't work out for a variety of reasons. Like Rutgers is not the easiest place to win. Greg Schiano is the only person who's really done it consistently at that program. Al Golden in Miami dealt with Devin Shapiro and other issues, and his star fell after that failure at the University of Miami. Both guys went to the NFL. Position coaches really came around the game that way, and now Ash replacing Golden at Notre Dame. I think a couple things here. First of all, Marcus Freeman, of course, as a defensive coach, going to have a lot of input in what he does anyways. But you're walking into a situation with a lot of returning talent. You do lose Kaiser, Watts, Mills, but you bring Benjamin Morrison, but you bring back Drake Bowen, Aiden Schuler, Jaden Osbury, Leonard Moore, who's a sensational young cornerback. So the talent is there. I think Notre Dame as a whole is ready to compete for a national championship again next year if that quarterback situation gets sorted out. I am probably more bullish on Notre Dame's quarterback situation than others. I think they'll upgrade there by the end of the year due to the additional passing that they'll have, whether it's Angeli or Carr. But, you want a plug-and-play guy. This is someone who's been around, and the personality is going to be different than Coach Golden, right? Just talking to a lot of people and hearing stories about Ash. He's not the most gregarious guy in the world, right? He's pretty direct with his communication style. Al Golden, much more like your head coach type personality where he's outgoing, he's in front of the media, etc. So that might be a change for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, but these guys are disciplined players. Notre Dame's not a school that recruits kids that need a whole lot of shaping in that way. They recruit a lot of self-starters. I think Notre Dame, more than other programs, it's about X's and O's, putting these kids in a position to succeed, explaining them the why, and because of the intelligence of the player that Notre Dame recruits, the self-discipline, and of course the talent, I think he'll have a pretty easy time coaching these guys due to what he knows from an X's and O's standpoint and what these kids are capable of.
An interesting matchup week one, a lot of turnover for Notre Dame, obviously with the coaching switch, and then they're playing Miami, who is going to have a new quarterback in Carson Beck. So again, I don't expect them to, as we've just talked about here, this whole segment, to try to do anything too different than what we saw last season, especially earlier in the year.
Yeah, and look, Notre Dame's defense was outstanding, right? It was arguably the best in the country besides Ohio State, who beat them in the championship game, a school that, by the way, Ash is familiar with. He was the co-coordinator at Ohio State with Luke Fickell, who's now a Big Ten head coach. So, I think the standard is going to be high, but there's every reason to maintain that given what you have coming back and the fact that Ash is not exactly learning on the job.